Flashback Generations. Pete here has often said that good and evil are often quoted as being a matter of opinion. Would anyone have hated Two-Face more if he was half ginger? Would anyone have cared if he'd died?
Lucky for us, that's not the case.
Oh, so today we delve into a gang and try to understand the bipolar ups and downs of outcast, misunderstood gang. Two-Face has to bear the agonising pain of being both Gotham's saviour and its ruin. Pete, let's find out why.
The only way to get by in this place is to get ourselves some respect. Fear. That's how we get respect. Show them all that we do things. We should be fair, though. This is a place of justice, after all. Screw justice. Kill her, and they'll all fear us. Bring out the defendant!
First off, we have Harvey Dent, Mr. Two-Face himself. He's the only leader of the gang. And there's only one model currently, so this is him. If you want to take Two-Face, you're pretty much taking this guy. So we'll start off with his stats. He's a strength 4, movement 2, attack 4, defense 4, endurance 9, and special 3, and willpower 7. He's not spectacular. The endurance 9 is the only really heavy stat, in my opinion. Otherwise, I'd say he's average to worse as a leader there.
Yeah, sort of the willpower, that's kind of average. A little bit below normal, I think, of most characters.
Yeah, well, your Batman and Joker are 8. A lot of characters now coming out 8, so 7. 7's a very good free agent, could be 7.
Yeah.
It's okay. Strength 4 plus, I think. Realistic because he's a man.
Yeah.
So he's a strong man. That's okay.
Whereas some of the female characters are more 5 plus, or some of the other sort of henchmen are 5 plus as well. So he's a bit tougher than normal, and that comes out with a couple of his weapons as well.
Yeah. But attack 4, defense 4, it's okay. But you're not going to see any leaders really without that, unless you've got large, in which case you usually the other way with the strength, higher strength, higher attack, lower defense, but as it is, that's me.
So what actually brings him on to actually being decent then?
Yeah, let's talk about what he's got. So Two-Face has obviously got a gun. He's got a Thompson machine gun. So it's a medium range firearm, 4 ammo, rate of fire 3, and blood stun, which it's alright. The 4 ammo is tasty.
Yeah, that's going to make sure that you can fire all throughout the game. However, having a rate of fire of 3, I think we're seeing a lot more these days that rate of fire 3 might not be as great as it used to be.
No, true. He's kind of acting as a bit of a support character nearly instead of a leader as such.
Yeah, I think his strength is that he buffs those around him.
He definitely does. We'll jump into his traits then to actually see, well, why is he a leader then? So obviously he's got Inspire, which is, which every leader has, so giving everyone the extra tokens. Would you consider this gang to be a gang that needs to stick together more so than other gangs?
Definitely, especially with some of the traits that we'll move on to. We've had a couple of games with him where I've played against him, and I think that the benefit for him is that he does actually stay close to the ones that some of the henchmen that actually do need to be buffed at the right moment of the game.
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's talk about it. Go through. He's got Judgment. So, Judgment, for those that don't know, it's when he knocks someone over through basically doing damage, the stun damage. If they get knocked unconscious, you flip your coin. If you get a heads, they actually get a casualty. It's a nice rule, very powerful, but then again, a lot of people seem to have kind of variants of that now. You see Cruel or, I don't know. There seems to be just lots of people who have, Dark Knight Rises guy, Scarecrow. There's lots of people who have kind of variants of how to just crit casualty people.
Yeah.
So, that seems to have really come into the game in a big way. This guy obviously is an old model, and he's an old character. So at the time, it was a kind of bigger rule for him. Really.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still a good rule. Having that range is actually pretty good. It means that he's fairly lethal. You know, if he gets three hits on someone, that's potentially 6 damage he's going to do straight away.
Yeah, one thing that you can do is actually sit at the back, guard your objectives on the opponent's side, and just keep on firing. Especially if you've got to try and get near to it. I've played a couple of games against other people other than yourself, and they've done exactly that, where I've had to cross an open ground to actually get into combat with him.
He is pretty lethal too, because he is a master marksman. So he actually gets the rerolls to hit shooting. And that's probably his most critical ability, I think. That the rerolls to hit means that you can't just take a chance at him. If you're going to have people go at him, you're actually in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
You need to either put him out, get within that 5 centimeters, so he can't shoot you, and then even then he's got reinforced gloves, so he's going to be doing the double damage.
Yeah.
And so then if he knocks you over with that, then you're still in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got lots of options.
Yeah. Even if you do get into combat, he can hold his own with the strength 4 and the double stuns.
Double stuns. So then the last two things he's got. Two things he's got is he's got sturdy. So he loses less of these the counters going down. So even though he's willpower 7, it's actually it kind of works for him a little bit better.
So it's with every 3 damage or stun that he actually takes one of the markers off rather than the normal 2.
Exactly. So he doesn't. Yeah. Otherwise he'd be at nothing. He'd be like Swamp Thing or something.
Yeah.
But as it is, so he is quite durable. I found that the endurance 9 is quite a lot to get through. Late game he's a better monster. Early game he's a little bit perhaps vulnerable.
Yeah, especially when models start coming off the board, especially in late game. He's going to be there unless you do send a killer in to take him out. He's normally something that's one of the last things left on the table, or one of the first things removed, equally, if you find him that much of a threat.
Exactly. And he's got a terrible trait, in my opinion. He's got bipolar. So this actually just makes him kind of rubbish in a way. Like, it makes him borderline unusable, because he's got willpower 7. What bipolar does is at the start of your turn, you're going to flip your coin. Whoa, what did I get? I got heads. Great. I'm willpower 8.
That's a lot of coin flipping.
Willpower 8 is good. Great. Yeah, you can appreciate that. But willpower 6, so if you have tails, he's -1. Willpower 6 is actually very harsh. And this is in my experience. When you have a high willpower versus a low willpower, the difference is colossal. Because what you can do with 6 willpower is a lot less than the 8 willpower. I don't know if that makes sense, but more willpower doesn't really start stacking up. If he had the difference with 12 willpower versus 10 willpower, you wouldn't even notice it. But then when you've got very little willpower, you really start noticing what the differences you can put in it. So this kind of scale is colossal when you're on 7. So 6 versus 8 is massive.
Yeah, all you need is a couple of bad flips of the coin or a couple of bad dice rolls if you haven't got a coin, and you're limited to a leader that's got willpower 6. With a couple of the crews out there, definitely with a couple of crews that I play, willpower 6 plus a couple of the other controls are there, you can really mess him up quite easily.
Absolutely, yeah. And then he doesn't really have anywhere to go. His attack 4, suddenly he's at willpower 6, attack 4, that's a defendable value as well. I find 4, it's not something that opponents find that difficult to even block. So his range damage is what you're really relying on, but it's not all that. Guns aren't all that. That's people that think that guns are all that are wrong.
However, that being said, I've actually had I've never played him myself, but some of the games that I have played against him have been some of the best games I have played of the game.
His gang plays in a nice way that they don't just skyrocket, and they don't have mad special rules. They play the game like it's meant to be played.
Yeah.
It's very kind of on the floor, but we'll talk about that later. His last trait is runaway, so he's immune to arrest.
Yeah, obviously Batman's not going to want to take him away. well, he's not able to take him away.
So he's got some special rules as well. Aversion to Catwoman. So you can't have Catwoman. You could just have hates Catwoman. I don't know. Aversion just seems like they're just being picky with the rules here and trying to confuse people.
Yeah, you don't get that a lot. It's normally hates.
Well, if you could do it, have your sidekick having Catwoman, but then I feel like, well, why not just have the gang hates Catwoman? It's not like she doesn't have choices. But anyway, whatever. It is what it is. And his last rule, this is his own rule, is attorney's allegation. Every henchman within every two-face henchman within 30 centimeters gains 2 action counters. Now, that sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, on the face of it, when you read that, you're just like, that is the best rule in the whole game. I found that that's not the case at all.
Yeah, it is specifically limited to the Two-Face henchman, so that black gate tube guy that everyone loves.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But see, that's not even the problem. The problem is that your henchmen are all, well, I'm going to call them the rubbish, but you know, they're all attack 3, defense 3, whatever. You know what you're doing in the turn. They're attacking or defending or whatever. You've already maxed out on the counters of what you're going to be doing, so it rarely comes into play. You end up just sticking them on movement and special, and you know, and that's where they kind of go. And it's a shame because it's such a big rule. If it actually meant you could go above your stat lines, Christ, then he's borderline the best character in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, Joker still got that, don't worry. Joker face. But, you know, as it is, I find it, attorney's allegation is you're more taking away some of his precious special counters that you need, and you're actually relying on him then to put, you know, out of his 6 counters that you probably get, 2 of them are going on special, and then you just feel like, well, what else am I going to do? Well, 2 in attack, 2 in defense. And then he's just weak. He's vulnerable to getting attacked and assaulted. And it's, you know, he can be controlled quite easy.
Yeah, it's almost like it needs a proper clarification if they did intend doing that as part of the design.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any confusion. But anyway, sue me. So this guy comes in at a grand total of 101 points with $0. So 101. What do you think?
That's quite expensive. It's what, 20 points more than Joker.
Yeah.
5 points or 4 points more than Ivy is. One of the Ivies at least. That's quite high for a leader, I think, or a normal leader.
Yes, he's very substandard, and you know, he plays the game properly. But I feel a bit like he plays the game a little bit too properly with, you know, the attorney's allegation doesn't quite break the game like you'd hope it would.
Yeah, he's just like an average Joe kind of leader, whereas you've got a lot of special leaders now, especially with some of the newer models coming out, that can do a heck of a lot more. Yeah.
I don't think he needs a rewrite, but you know, maybe if they want it, if anything, you could revisit his reputation. See what happens, you know. That would be probably his biggest fix if you ever needed to do it. Anyway, let's stop bitching about Two-Face. Let's go on to see what sidekicks he has.
What the hell's going on? Open that goddamn door!
I like you right where you are, Brendan.
Too many people have already died. Order your squads to withdraw.
I can't guarantee their safety.
Units 1 and 2, converge on the lobby! He's here! Shoot on sight!
We are aware that Spice has been announced, but we are not going to review her because A, we don't actually have her, or the new henchmen, and B, I haven't really looked into her, so it would be unfair to try and judge a character that I have no idea how she works or whatever. I'd just be talking nonsense.
She's not out anyway.
Yeah, so she's this video will come out before that. Let's just say that, yeah? This came out sometime in August. Alright, so there's only one sidekick.
Yeah.
And his name is Brandon. He's a cop.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's a cop.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing here.
Is he a good cop?
He's obviously corrupt.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he's not a very good cop. Yeah, he's working with the bad guys. So we'll just run through his stats. So he has a sidekick. He is strength 4, attack 3, endurance 6, move 2, defense 3, and special 3. So his attack, defense 3, and move 2, all pretty lame, to be honest.
He just feels a bit like a average Joe.
That's endurance 6. A good henchman has got that.
Yeah.
So whatever. Willpower 6. A good henchman could have that, so whatever. Special 3 and strength 4+. 4+ just being a strong man, whatever. So nothing outrageous there. Moving on, let's go into his weapon. He's got an MG of blood.
Yeah, well, this already looks a little bit better than Two-Face.
Yeah, he's got rate of fire 3, as Two-Face had, but he's got 2 ammo, medium range and firearm. Exactly the same, but the double blood.
Yeah, not as much ammo, but he might be near that ammo counter, ready to pick it up.
Yeah, he's definitely that gun is threatening. Let's jump onto his traits and see what he can do with it. So he's got a veteran. Let's move around 2 counters. Activate him. It's like veteran. I find to be really good because you can stick them in your defense. If your opponent doesn't attack you, then you're just going to go whatever. They're in attack then. Although his attack 3 is lame, so I don't know what you can really do with his veteran. So
yeah, it means that before he activates, he can activate it quite a little bit later. Than if you stick him in defense initially, then you can move him up into attack at a later stage, right?
He could change. You can change that into a run. Or something, so he does have options. I mean, I'm not knocking veteran because it's obviously a great ability, but paired with his stats, I don't think he can do that much good with it. Anyway, he's got corrupt.
Yeah. Now this is the one that allows you to add a couple of police force on it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool if the Bat Builder was updated to do that dynamically?
No, that was those guys were incompetent. They couldn't do that. Anyway, where are we? Bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
So he's that's the any firearms 4-up armor save. So instead of wounding on a 2, you get on a 4. It's good. It's whatever. All the cops seem to have it.
Yeah.
And then he's got the elite boss, just as Two-Face did. So he can take as many
SWAT guys, isn't it?
Oh, the SWAT guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, elite boss SWAT,
Yeah.
not gangster. So they both got this different angle. The SWAT elite are actually pretty good. I have to say, for their cost, even though they were like one of the first wave of things, they've actually lived that test of time, and they're good.
Yeah.
Especially Shotgun guy. He's just he's still my favorite.
Yeah, I don't like him very much.
We've got arrest.
Yeah.
With Brandon. So a Two-Face guy with arrest. Brilliant. So handcuffs, go and instant kill people when they're on the floor. It's good.
Something not to be knocked, especially when you just get the knockdown. But it would mean that he's not up close. Well, he's not at a distance with his gun, and he has to be up close and personal, ready to take people out that just been knocked down. Whereas his gun's going to be doing double damage. It's going to be aiming to kill people.
Yeah, absolutely. He's rubbish in combat, but his gun is ferociously hard.
Yeah.
And then his last trait is undercover. Oh wait, no, lantern and undercover. Lantern, so you can go and shine his torch on people.
Always useful, maybe in that odd game that you play.
It gives it can give him another use for having a special counter there.
Yeah.
Sitting there, and perhaps Two-Face has got a shot. It's all a bit situational here.
It is very situational. It's not going to happen every game.
But if you didn't want to do anything with him, him having that lantern on someone so someone else can take the shot. It's definitely so instead of he's a marker instead of the actual shooter.
Yeah.
Which works. Again, I think you're lulling your opponent into a trap that they should be able to see them.
Yeah.
And his last trait is undercover. So that is your deployment zone. You can go 20 centimeters further. It's good.
Yeah, it means if you want to send him across the table, get him into different positions, maybe around that odd corner, he's got that little bit extra movement, but really, he's got a gun, he's got medium range?
Yeah. It gives him a big scope to actually start the game, like on top of something or in something. nearer to objectives or to mark an objective. It's undercover is definitely a good trait. I never find it actually plays out the game that differently. To if your whole gang had it, it would be different. But otherwise, it just feels like a bit like he's standing there waiting for everyone else to get into position.
Yeah, he's going to be acting as a threat immediately from possibly around a loot marker or a couple of Riddler markers, and he's going to be able to put a threat on the enemy deployment zone quite quickly as well.
And how many points is he? 69.
I remember him being 400 cash.
400 cash and 69. Worth it?
Little bit expensive on the cash side, but for 69 points, that's kind of your average free agent.
Oh, sorry, he's 53.
Yeah, there you go.
69? I was thinking, who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of someone else, but yeah. No, he's 53, 400.
Yeah.
53. You know what? He's half the point of Two-Face.
Yeah.
And he's kind of got the same gusto as him.
He feels as effective, if not slightly better.
I don't know if he's better, but he's definitely not rubbish.
Yeah.
The hiring in the extra SWATs and stuff, or whatever.
Yeah, maybe
Police.
Maybe he could be taken as a sidekick leader, as opposed to taking Two-Face. But I'm not sure why you'd do that with the Two-Face gang.
He can work for a few gangs as well. I've seen him with Black Mask, and with Black Mask he works better because he can give the cops the bat claws.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when you got police that can back claw, they've actually got a better purpose about it. So with Two-Face, I feel like he's not as good. So I don't know should they try and redo this? It's kind of a bit like maybe he should have had a better ability with Two-Face. Maybe he shouldn't have had all these different gangs he could go with. I don't know. It's sort of
I'm not sure. Maybe someone can tell us.
Yeah, someone else can tell us. I'm not bowled away by him. 53 rep, he's alright. He does a lot of damage. If he can get the right shots off, he's really good, but he's missing quite a lot of oomph as well.
Yeah. Maybe not the right crew for him.
No, I don't think it is actually. I think he works better with Black Mask.
Yeah.
Probably the cops as well. Just a law and order.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's all right. Anyway, that's the sidekicks. We're not going to cover Spice as we said. So let's jump into henchmen.
Now you understand there's going to be some scarring. But I've already scheduled a surgeon.
Give me a mirror.
Harvey, maybe you should wait until...
I said give me a mirror. Now!
Two-Face henchmen are all quite similar. Very similar. They all seem to have criminal and the same stats.
Yeah.
Little slight weapon variants and different things, but they're even all called Twoot. So let's start off then. We'll start off with the worst. We'll go worst to best, or rather
cheapest.
Cheapest to most expensive. First off, we got Twoot. Okay, so stat-wise, strength 5, movement 2, attack 3, defense 2, endurance 5, special 3, willpower 4. He's absolutely rubbish. Defense 2, you just don't block anything. Attack 3 is okay. For 12 points, I think he's actually very decent.
Yeah, he's kind of on par with the Blackgate guys.
Yeah, he's a knife guy,
Yeah.
Sorry, he's the knife guy. He's a Joker equivalent. He doesn't get to rearrange his counters and stuff, but he's all right. Endurance 5.
Yeah.
Actually is quite quite tasty for 12 points. He's also got the henchman star rank, so you can take as many as you want.
Yeah.
So he's actually really good.
Yeah, the blood on the knife, that's quite useful as opposed to the tube gun.
Knife. So a knife has sharp, so you get to re-roll any of those failed wounds. So his difficulty is definitely trying to hit someone because he's attack 3, so people that just block on 3s. Whatever, but at the same time, he's a really good character to just actually be annoying. He does do a little bit of damage, and the damage he does is all blood damage.
Yeah.
So, his one trait is criminal.
Yeah, it's again situational. If he manages to get someone KO'd, isn't it?
You KO someone, KO or kill, he'll get +1 willpower for the rest of the game. That only applies once. It's not going to be +6 by the end of the game. So he's going to get a one-off bonus of 1 willpower, which is good. It means that he's a decent finisher. In fact, the whole Two-Face gang, it feels like everyone needs to finish everyone because everyone wants to get that that bonus.
Yeah.
Like Two-Face getting flipping a coin to see if they're automatically dead, or these guys getting willpower bonuses. There's lots of kind of bonuses for winning.
Yeah.
And for 12 rep.
Yeah. It's one of those guys that if you've got them spare 12 rep free, you take him.
For 12, I mean, it's nearly worth taking 3 of them. 36 points.
Yeah. Especially if you want them to benefit from Two-Face's attorney allegations.
Yeah, you can stick them on defense then, I guess.
Yeah.
So
A bit more survivable for one turn.
Perhaps. They're rubbish. Defense 2, it really is. Like, Green Arrow has a field day with them.
Yeah.
And you know what? All these stats are going to carry on for a good while. So, get used to these terrible stats. Alright, so that's him for 12 rep. A definite thumbs up. Next up, we have Twoot.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think this guy's poop. Poop.
Oh, pooped, okay. Alright, if you like. Okay, so let's pretend that we've seen his stats already, because we have. We just had them on there a second ago. Identical. The only thing that's different, he's even got the same traits. Most of these guys have got criminal too. As I said earlier, they've all got a different weapon. This guy's got a mallet.
Yeah.
So this guy has got blood, stun with tough. So that's
Otherwise known as heavy.
Heavy, yeah. So that's just +1 to wound. So you did it on a 5, now does it on a 4. I don't think that's as good a trait as sharp, but the blood stun is definitely better than blood.
Yeah.
Is he better than knife? Yeah, probably. For 15 points?
Yeah.
I'm not arguing about the price. For 15 rep, he's good.
Yeah, I'd probably be taking this guy over the knife guy, but I like this guy. Yeah,
I take 3 of them. 45 points for him and 36 for the other. There you go. You got 6 goons. They're all rubbish, but my God, that's a lot of attacks coming in.
Yeah.
So there's our gang so far. Right, let's go on to our next guy.
So next guy up is Bob.
Twoot. Yeah. So this is the same thing again.
Yeah. No, this model came out quite later than the gang itself, didn't it?
It did, yeah. This was a good year, within a year. So he's got the exact same stats all over again. Endurance 5, willpower 4, attack, defense, rubbish. And movement, rubbish, strength, rubbish. He's got a gun though, and he's not afraid to use it. Short range weapon. Blood stun. Rate of fire 2, ammo 2. Is he worth it? 16 points?
Yeah, I think 16 points for a firearm in the crew, that's really good, cheap points. I'd probably take him over the mallet just to get that bit of range firepower, but I'd also then still use the mallet to get some up close, heavy hitting, close combat action.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bob's he's good, but he's just not great.
Yeah.
Well, for 16 rep, I mean, you're not going wrong.
I think this guy was quite useful for the crew at the time, that they had other weapons and they needed that cheap guy in there.
What he doesn't have is a little star.
Yeah.
So he's not a multiplier. Bob is unique.
Well, he is Bob, isn't he?
He is.
He's not Pete.
No, Pete. Right, we'll move on then. Next up, we have Twoot.
Or Tot.
Alright, let's go with your one then. Again, this guy's the exact same as all the others, except he's got 2 weapons. One is the shield with protecting, so he's got his 4 blink rolls. We've seen these weapons before with Penguin and Joker and the likes. What he also has is a petrol bomb. He has the first ever fire weapon in Batman. It was revolutionary when he came in, like with this weapon. I like his rules. I like the mechanic, so it always wounds on a 3. It makes sense. And the short range and fire, like fire, so you had to put spend tokens to put it out. However, I wish that it actually had the explosion template, explosive on it as well. So with the ammo 1, it just means he's quite restrictive. He's a one-shot guy. He's a shotgun guy pretty much.
Yeah. So you're going to use him, with his shield to get up close to someone that you're going to have to throw that, throw the Molotov up. It's going to hit them. It's got a good chance of wounding them with mechanic, and then after that, they're going to hopefully spend a couple of turns putting out that fire, or at least burning a couple of encounters at least.
Yeah,
literally.
He's, at least his saving grace is he is only 17 rep. I think he's worth it, but he's just, I don't know. I feel like they were being very safe with the rules with him, especially the damage one blood. It just feels like, why couldn't he do loads of, or what? There's something about it I just feel like wasn't quite like, he's not that dangerous.
Yeah.
He's just not dangerous at all, really. He's just another guy, but for 17 rep, you can't really go wrong with him. He's just not super.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to our next guy then. We have Twoot.
Or Zwaz.
Zwaz, okay, he sounds like a Nazi. So, yeah, again, he's got the exact same stats. This guy has got the difference. His weapon is an MG. So he had the same as Brandon's gun. So in fact, we've already covered this gun. So this is Brandon Jr. That's what I'm going to call him. So this guy's just Brandon, but he's 20 points instead of 50 points.
Yeah.
Is this guy worth it? He's a multiplier as well, isn't he?
No, yeah, he is. You can take multiples there.
So there you go, 3 of them for 60 rep. He's the same, 3 of him is the same as 1 Brandon. And then you got 3 guns covering 3 areas. That's it, done. That's my gang in the future.
Yeah, see that? It puts a lot of firepower on the board very, very cheaply.
It does. 20 rep, and that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
What I always find is the nice thing about guns is it doesn't matter about your opponent's defense. They can't spend the counters. That's it. You're just rolling to hit.
Yeah.
They're hit. So 3 of these over Brandon any day. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Are we just filth mongering lists here? Are we just gonna see everyone's gonna have like 9 of these goons from now on? Yeah, you've barely broken 100 points with them.
Yeah, I wonder what you'd use Harvey with though for using 3 of these guys or 9 of these guys even.
Oh, all 9. I'd take all 9. I just go as crazy as you could with all the cheap guys. Would you go with the conversions, alternative models? Not non-official KM, of course.
Well, it would be a shame not to use official KM models, but it would also be the same. Quite a samey looking list as well.
I'd be a fan of actually getting look for these alternative models. And loads of places do nice stuff, but I don't know. Being Two-Face as well, they've all got the burnt faces and things. It's actually not that difficult to kind of come up with your own little creations for how you can do it. Get the old Stanley blade out and start boring holes in them and stuff. I don't know.
It's not like Ivy tokens though, is it?
No. Oh, you're not bitter at all, are you?
Not at all.
Okay, so this guy's just an MG wielding guy for 20 rep. I think we both officially gave him the thumbs up there.
Yeah, don't let anyone get too close to them.
No, but they just cover each other so well. You've got one there and one there and one there. If you're going to attack one, you're going to get shot by the other one. So they've got you. As well as that, like guns, they're willpower 4. So when you're actually doing this, you're putting 2 in attack and 2 in defense. They've actually got the defense tokens and they've got the full capacity to shoot. And they set up the option to do a rate of fire 1. So they are actually just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, see that's where if you did Two-Face's action, then you've got potential a run in there as well.
You've got a run on or
because
an extra attack.
you can run after you've shot at full rate of fire, right?
No. Not after. Before. But anyway, we'll go on to the next character. So next we're going on to Twoot.
So next up is Motum.
Oh, Motum. Okay, I'll go with yours. So Motum actually breaks Two-Face's list. They've evolved. They now have defense 3 and willpower 5. They've jumped the gun here, but at a cost. So Motum has an axe and he's not afraid to use it. That's got sharp and handy on it.
Yeah. So
heavy and handy.
yeah, he's got heavy and handy on it.
Heavy and handy. So it's +1 to hit and rerolls. Rerolls to hit and +1 strength.
Yeah.
His strength is 5 plus, as a lot of henchmen are, but
Which makes him 4.
So he's a 4 up effectively, which is good, really good, because the handy you're typically going to hit. Another change he's got is he's got the fast rule.
That's just I love the fast rule.
Fast rule, you get to re-roll any of the dice that you're rolling in your movement.
Yeah.
That's very effective with him. I actually think it's more effective than you think it is. If you have two movement in him and 3 attack, which is his willpower 5, because he's +1 willpower over the other guys as well. But say you've got that, he's actually able to. He's very dynamic about running around corners and hitting people, and you can't judge it. You can't get to a safe distance, and that's a lot of attacks and it's a lot of damage coming in. Now it is quite easy to defend against because it's only attack 3, but him doing it later on after other people have just wasted their attacks, say the knife guy or your other guys that people have had to defend against. When he comes in and he's done it from a distance, he can really surprise people.
Yeah. And again, this is where dense power can come into play. Give him 2 extra counters.
He can work with it better than.
Yeah.
He can work with it better than the others because he's obviously got more movement.
Yeah.
So at the start of the turn, if you're the Two-Face player, you mentally have made a note that you haven't put anything in movement. Your opponent thinks they're safe. Aha, he's only going to move 10 centimeters. Next thing you know, Dent said, no, here, you've got 2 movement in there. He can run around the corner. You've rolled a 12. He's got 22 CM. Your opponent didn't see that coming.
Yeah. When I've played against him, he's definitely been a threat that I've respected and tried to avoid, really, just because of the threat that he can be.
Mm-hmm. It's the defense 3 as well. I mean, the jump from 2 to 3 is massive as well.
Yeah.
So suddenly he isn't just getting hit by everything.
Yeah, you basically, if you have to go in for him, you're going to be bogged down with him for at least 2 turns, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. The endurance 5, same as usual, but it's that defense that makes a difference. So next up we have Twoot
Or Rotter.
Oh, Rotter. Okay, let's go with that. So again, he's got the same stats as his brother Motum, but he has a different weapon. He's more expensive and he's got other stuff as well. So we'll jump into him. He's got a shotgun.
Yeah, definitely. It's always the good gun to have. You never expect the damage you can do, or I never expect the damage you can do.
Shotgun's best gun in the game by far. So ammo 3, rate of fire 1, firearm and medium range. It just means that you're always going to have a run on and then you're going to shoot something. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. You have to accept it. You're going to get shot and you're going to get hit by blood stuff.
Yeah.
And that is just horrendous. That can really just... It effectively takes out one of your henchmen straight away.
Yeah, the fact that you can run in and it doesn't affect your rate of fire and you get in that damage output from it, I always hate these things.
Yeah, medium range too means you can happily sit 30 centimeters away, not receiving anything back unless they're going to shoot you. But effectively, a combat guy can't just come and get you. So you've just got a free shot on them. And, you know, even if that guy comes at you, then you're going to run away and do the same again next turn. So, yeah, it's just annoying tactics, really.
Yeah, I always felt that the shotgun had a bit too much range to it.
Medium range?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there. I know a lot of people always have to recheck that rule.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got Criminal. He's got Hardened. So Hardened is the first blood turns into a stun.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is a really good roll. That's in a turn. So again, that adds to that thing. Even if you do get to him and try to hurt him, the first wound is actually just a stun. So, you know, he's even potentially going to recover it. So he's not even, you know, worth taking out with that. And he's got a massive rule as well. Follow me. That is just so good. And taking Follow Me with Motum, the two of them, these can run around together and do exactly what they want to do. So Follow Me, when you use it, it's a special counter to give all the guys around you, with all the other henchmen, a movement counter.
Yeah.
So, you know, suddenly it's another way to give Motum counters for doing nothing. It's great for him to just do it to the other guys who you don't necessarily need to, but they don't have enough willpower to really boost themselves.
Yeah, both Motum and Rot came as Two-Face Thug set 1, and they really did add a bit more of a punch to the Two-Face crew.
Definitely. They're like a lot of the unique Penguin guys. They're really what make the staple of the Two-Face gang itself. He is Reputation 30 and a $250 funding, so he doesn't come cheap. I think he's definitely worth it though.
But he's pretty much an always too.
The thing is, you kind of want to take these two in tandem because they actually work together, and they really boost the other guys. So, you know, how many points are we on now if we just took everything so far? 150?
I'm going to go with you on that.
160, 170. So, yeah, not even breaking the bank. So,
Yeah.
you know, you've got a hell of a lot of models there. You've got 11 models, and, you know, they're all going to die, but...
And 100 for Two-Face as well, so, you know, you've got plenty more to come.
Yeah. Alright, so next up, we have... Twoot.
Very good. Dirty Tom.
It's Dirty Tom. So, Dirty Tom, he is, he was the set 2 release.
Yeah.
Their stats, they've gone up again. So this time they're actually Strength 5, Movement 3, Attack 4, so the attack's gone up from before, Defense 3, Endurance 6, so the endurance is more than before, and Special 3, and Willpower stays at 5. So they're kind of similar, just with a bump in endurance and attack.
Yeah, this guy was the start of the sort of higher end mobster characters. Well, higher end henchman characters for Two-Face, and he's a mobster.
Yeah, he's good. So he's an elite.
Yeah.
He's an elite gangster, which is okay.
Gangster rather than mobster.
Yeah, I always call him mobster as well. So he's armed with the Thompson, the minigun.
Yeah,
miniguns.
It's what we've already covered with Two-Face. I think it's exactly the same stats.
It is actually. Yeah. I like the model. I think it's quite cool. I like it. It's got that 1920s gangster thing about it.
Yeah.
The pins, the striped suit, and you know.
One thing I always liked about Two-Face and about this guy is that it's got that iconic machine gun from the 1920s onwards.
I think it says on his character somewhere he's got a Brooklyn accent as well. Yeah. You kind of know what like his story is with it. He's got a pencil moustache. He must do. You know, he's one of the Sopranos crew, I'm sure. So yeah, he's just got Two-Face gun. He's got Criminal as usual. He's got Runaway, which you covered already, which is immune to arrest. He's Elite Gangster, which we talked about saying you need to have the elite boss, so Two-Face could take him. Two-Face could take any number of these guys. And he's also got Resilient, which is the same thing. Oh, it's what's that one do?
Basically, the character can reroll any failed endurance rolls and accept the second result. So if this guy does get KO'd...
Okay, yeah. I remember, yeah. Large characters have it typically.
Yeah,
that's a strange one for a small character to have.
Yeah, but...
it's quite a forgettable trait in a way.
Yeah, but I don't know, because I like the Thompson and I like the gangster feel, if he's going down, you know, I want that character to be able to get up to continue fighting later in the game.
Yeah. So this guy is 32 rep and 350 funding.
Yeah, so not cheap on the funding.
I'm on the side that I don't really like him actually. I like the fluff about him. I like what he is, but I kind of don't like his reputation of funding. I think he's a little bit dear for what you're getting.
He draws me in with the nostalgic taste. You know, I'd want to include him just because of the way he looks, just because of what he's done.
I've used him every game.
Yeah.
I've used him every game, and you know what? He's never bad. He's always lived, actually, I think. But typically because he's just like, his endurance is too high, can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I think, you know, so that actually does stack and, mean that he gets his shots off.
If we were net listing here and min-maxing, we'd go for the guy with the submachine gun every time.
Yeah, I would, yes, because you get two of the submachine guns over him.
Yeah.
For the same dollar cost, and for 8 points more, you get that. Yeah, I think I'd definitely be the truth.
But you get a better looking character.
You do, I know. Yeah. All right. So, and then we come to our final henchman.
Is this guy also called Trut?
No, this guy is called Boris.
Ah.
He's Russian. He's got a Russian accent. This guy, it's weird. He's just he's a Russian guy who lives in New York. Or Gotham even. But stat wise, he's very similar to the guy we just did. He's got attack 4, he's got everything the same in fact, except he's got endurance 7. This guy's even tougher. This guy is, I told you he's Russian.
Yeah.
This guy is nails. Every time I tell people 7 when I'm using him, they go, what? Let's see. And they have to check his card to see if I've scribbled on it or something, But anyway, so it is. He's nails, like with that 7. It's a lot to get through.
Which, for what he's got, you will be sending him up there in front. He's ahead of the pack, isn't he?
Yeah. So this is why I like this guy though as well. He's got 2 weapons. He's got a gun, and he's got brass knuckles. So the gun is just a handgun, but it does two blood, short range, firearm, all that. The 2 ammo, and his brass knuckles. So he's got the double stun rule.
Yeah, a bit like Two-Face.
Yeah, but you can nick these off him.
Yeah,
so
that's the difference. Yeah.
But this guy can attack in close combat or shoot at range. So he is actually really dangerous at either. And you know what? He's nearly the same points as the other guy as well. So this guy instead has got criminal, as we know, street guy, which means you could run up to something, or rather move up to something, and duck down behind it, so you get that for free.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever said that or remembered to use it ever, because you always just walk around and go, well, I'm going to shoot you and not let you use that anyway.
You get it with one of the Blackgate guys, one of the guys in the Blackgate 2 set, which it's quite a useful trait, and I think that it is underused.
I think it's very underused. But it is what it is. He's elite like the other guy, and he's got persuasive, so 1 attack and 1 special, and he's telling someone you're activating next.
I always like that.
That is such a strong trait, to actually force someone that they can't just sit in their protective bubble, they can't just have someone ready at the end. This guy, for 33 rep and 200 funding, is gold.
What I'd be doing is I'd be sending this guy in first. I'd have Motum and Rotta behind. I'd get him to make someone that's close to him activate.
Yeah.
They've spent their activation, then I'd send in the other 2.
Absolutely. He just has so many tricks to him. For 33 rep and 200 versus 30... Sorry, he's 33 versus the 32 and 350. What? I don't get it. He's like far superior endurance-wise. He's got a better gun, sort of. It's not really as good rate of fire.
Close range. Yeah.
The range and the rate of fire, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because if they come near you, you're going in close combat anyway. He's got attack 4 and 5 willpower. It's just kind of worth piling all your attack in there and going, well, what's your opponent going to do? Because if they come near you, you're going to go in and punch them anyway. That's going to hurt.
But it isn't a Thompson.
Okay. All right, fair enough. It's not a Thompson. That's the
Yeah.
The model's not as cool, but the name is better.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That's the end of the Two-Face the guys. Now we'll talk about the pros and cons of the gang.
Hands off the boss, bat freak! Yeah, he's twice the man you are.
Save your breath. We'll get our chance.
Not anytime soon.
So let's start off with the pros of the gang. So the pros of the gang, we were talking about lots of cheap troops there with a lot of blood damage, a lot of potential to kind of go and do things, to just out-swarm and outnumber your enemy.
I think that's the one big thing that reaches out to me with this gang, that it is a swarm gang.
Yeah.
You use them cheap troops to get and block things and to out-activate your opponent, and then you use a couple of good henchmen that we've talked about to do the sort of two-step hit.
I find that this gang tries to pull in the free agents a little bit too hard as well. Like it can really lend out to them.
Yeah.
And no free agent, it's very, because it is quite a shooting gang. As we were going through that, like, we were very in favour of, this guy shoots brilliant. Even though I don't think that shooting is the world, it's just not a very mobile gang. So they need to have something that they're good at. And they're good on the ground, and they're not very good at defending. So they actually have to be good at shooting. So they have to be good at something, and that's what they're good at.
The
dark elves of Batman.
Yeah, it's almost like a couple of common free agents that I see with this gang are either Deadshot or Deathstroke, and I think that Deadshot just adds another gun to the gang.
I don't think he's worth it because he's suddenly added another dollar cost on there.
Yeah,
I think
you're gonna struggle.
Melee guys are better. I was using Zaz for a while.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. Zaz is for another review, but I think that having a combat guy is actually kind of needed. You can go with special, you can go with Firefly or something like that, but again, there's a big dollar cost involved, and I think that trying to keep away from free agents that do that is a better thing. Having free agents that are better combat orientated and more mobile is a plus for the game. So that's kind of what it lacks, and you need more of that. It doesn't have any large people or whatever, so someone like Killer Croc could be very, very useful in this, to just come up and be a defensive character or an aggressor, in either case. But so that's what I feel like it needs.
Yeah, I was looking into possibly Grundy with his traits, or Clayface even.
Clayface is, I'd say Clayface would work very well with them, because you can have enough. You've got enough bodies. Now you need someone who can actually fight, and Clayface could do that. So the pros of the gang are definitely that this is a swarm gang, for the most part. Downfall, mobility, and other things that it's not. So what it's good at shooting, and it's good at outnumbering your opponent.
Yeah.
What it's bad at is selection of your Two-Face. So you've got one choice, and he seems like he's overcost for what he's going to try and do. Even your sidekick doesn't even feel like he's that strong. Like he's a bit better than your minions.
Yeah, most crews are going to have to try and lend onto the Blackgate lot, whereas this crew you kind of almost want to stay away from them so that they benefit from the Dent trait, the attorney allegations.
How about this though? I mean, just thinking about this right now, you've kind of got three tiers of the same guy. You've got like Dent, Brandon, and Truth with the gun, but like you got the three tiers of the exact same guy, but like at different costs. And then it feels like, I've got the same guy, he can shoot again.
Well, 4 tiers, because then you've got the guy with the Thompson. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Thompson. But the Thompson, I don't think it's the same category, because he's not worth it.
Yeah.
But, so, I would think that... But that to me is a bit boring rules writing as well, that they have the three things. So, if, they've written this one-dimensional gang. Not to try and denounce Two-Face or anything. It just that's what it does very well. let down primarily because of their equipment. Even if they were given a back claw, suddenly they could have. Oh, you know what? Well, you give it to this guy, and he could have gone up here, and he could have gone up here, but that's not in the gang. So, but actually, it's just as well because I think back claw on henchmen is stupid anyway.
I don't think that the back claw should have been in this gang. I'm glad it's not.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, that Harvey Dent is one of my favourite characters within the Batman DC universe. Some of the comics that have been out and some of the stories, and even that film as well. He's such a great character, and I just feel like he's been underloved in this.
I know. Actually, speaking of which, let's talk about what we want to see in the future.
The world is cruel, and the only morality in a cruel world is chance. Unbiased, unprejudiced, fair. His son's got the same chance she had. 50-50.
What do we need, Pete? I'll tell you what we really need. We need Dark Knight Rises Harvey Dent.
Let's have a look.
The model.
Oh, that would be quite cool.
How cool would he be? I like the idea that he's obviously Two-Face leader, and he's also Law and Order. So he can be leader of he can be obviously the commissioner's kind of good guy there.
It's almost like you could have the two in the same gang, if you could go down that route.
Oh, I think he could be written in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
Like, if, here you go, you got your standard traits, whatever. So he's good at fighting and stuff, isn't he? Because everyone thought he was Batman. So whatever. So he's decent. He's got decent stats. He's all that, he's got his normal traits. But then he's got two little, if he's in Two-Face gang, this is what he does. If he's a Law and Order guy, this is what he does. And I thought that would be quite cool if he did that. And then, you can still have him with his psychological problems and whatever. But, he needs to have the gunman things, whatever,
You could do it as a quite simple one model in a blister with two different heads.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, KM. Trademark.
Yeah.
Stamped.
Yeah, checks in the post, right?
Yeah. So obviously you've just pipped us to the post with extra sidekicks. Yeah. So you got Spice out there. Well done.
Yeah.
We want to see Sugar along soon. That'll be great because then you got an option of 3 sidekicks.
Yeah.
Which is reasonable.
I think that's what he needs. And seeing. I'm guessing that you're not going to do the Drew Barrymore model.
Why not? I want to see that. What about older versions of Two-Face? Do we want to see Batman Forever?
Well, there's a Tommy Lee Jones one. I'd love to see that.
I did too. Actually, I would love it too.
I really did. As for silly that film was, it did really make me like Tommy Lee Jones as an actor and Two-Face as a character, as well as reading stuff such as Long Halloween, etc.
Yeah. Do you know the way there's the Killing Joke version of Killing Joker?
Yeah.
Do you think that Long Halloween Two-Face is the next kind of option that they have in the pipeline?
That would be a great idea.
New 52 Two-Face, whatever.
Yeah.
These sort of. I mean, these are all kind of different variants that they could easily bring in.
Yeah, and I know at the time that KM released Two-Face as a model that came out as Arkham City. It was the second game.
Yeah.
And his crew reflect that. And I remember reading the fluff around that game that eventually his gang actually rose in power. So you've got the guys out the front there. They're the ones from that game. But I can see now that they're following up with the Arkham Knight series, and the new crew are going to look like them. So it's just going to show progression of Harvey Dent through that era.
I think there's so many options there. Harvey Dent doesn't necessarily even have to be a bad guy.
No.
Although he should be the Two-Face leader. I don't think anyone else can take that baton off him, can they?
Yeah. You could go one further. You could have him as a bald guy, as if he is from the Dark Knight Returns.
A bald guy?
Yeah, when he had his face reconstructed.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Lex Luthor there.
Oh, well, I get the two mixed up.
Alright, okay. Well, we'll finish there then, okay?
Cool.
Alright guys, well thanks for watching and let us know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the episode and we got another one coming soon. So from me, from Pete, see you later. Okay Bob, so I'm not going to remember your name, so I'm going to have to call you Pete, okay? You got that? Pete.